saying it loud. Open your mouth wide and say, ah.
Name of this play is The Fall of X.
1, 2, 3, DJ. Yeah. You know what it is.
Rock it out, rock it out, rock it out, rock it out.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Rock it out, rock it out, rock it out, rock it out.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Alright, take that too.
My name is Noel Eusebio. I work for the City of Sacramento Community Development Department, Code Enforcement Unit. I work the anti-graffiti program, anti-gang and anti-graffiti program. And I've been doing this for approximately 22 years. The city approximately spends, there's 3 positions that we have. We have 2 code officers that do nothing but graffiti 5 days a week. They're split up into north and south, so that there's basically 8 council districts in the city. One of them has 4, the other one has 4. And they basically go and address citizen complaints regarding graffiti. And they'll basically set up cases regarding graffiti and attack them as far as asking for voluntary removal, compliance to paint over, and or help assist with documentation for the police department. And then I'm their supervisor, so we're talking 2 full-time officers and a supervisor, plus all the auxiliary staff that intake the calls, and we give that data to PD. So we're probably talking approximately $500,000 as far as the program's concerned. It was a little bit more at one point, but since the budgetary constraints, the 2 police officers that were liaisons to our unit have been put back into their central unit, and they are only called to work cases if they get direction from either a council member or their police captain from us. So about $500,000 for the program, and that's just the city alone. It doesn't include businesses who remove it on a daily basis, businesses who hire contractors in a certain business district to remove it on a daily basis, and it doesn't incorporate the county of Sacramento, which is a larger part of the area. So we're talking over $1 million for sure for the area.
Yeah. That's not even counting the removal.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Materials are an added cost on that, because then if you think about it, also the state has a lot to deal with it, because they take care of all the freeways and highways that are their jurisdiction. So there's city, county, state, all the actual business people, plus other contractors that are involved also. We do remove it, and we do send out a crew that removes it. We have 2 crews. We have 2 parts of that abatement program. One is a full-time, I'm sorry, I forgot to include our full-time maintenance guy. He does all city parks, he does sidewalks, traffic control boxes, so anything that is related to city property, he is out there abating it 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And he gets those complaints from our 2 officers that previously had those cases and have directed him to remove it. So that's another position I totally forgot. Yeah. And we have a youth crew that abates graffiti on the weekends. We hire 8 part-time high school students that will remove graffiti on private property. And those are the cases that our code officers direct. So let's say you had a property at 123 X Street, and somebody, let's say you're an absentee landlord, you rent that property out. It gets graffiti, the fence gets graffiti, or the property gets graffiti. Somebody would call in and say, hey, there's gang-related graffiti on 123 X Street. They would call it in, we would notify you and ask you to remove it voluntarily, because it's a hazard to the community, brings down property values, whatever. And let's say you're compliant and you go over there and remove it, we would close the case. If you are not compliant, if you tell us to go pound dirt or pound sand, we would then start a formal process and ask you, hey Bill, can you remove this? This is why, the reasons you should remove it. And if you still go ask us to pound sand, then we would start a process to actually remove it. And we would send you a letter to remove it, and then if you didn't, then we would schedule it for abatement, and that's how the labor force gets kicked in.
And would they get billed?
Yes, they would get billed for it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Because the whole thing is our whole program is, you can go down to Home Depot, get color match paint for your fence or your house for about $20. So we ask for your voluntary compliance. Now, if you don't want to do that and you want to ask us for some removal materials, we'll also give you that. But our selection of paint is limited, so you'd only have so many colors to choose from. And we do have a color match program, but that's what limited too. We can't produce all the various colors. We can give you something close. And again, we would ask you to voluntarily remove it. And I'd say we get about 75-80% compliance from property owners. They know that they need to remove it to keep their property values up, and they're very compliant. Well, it all depends. If you're a major offender, then if there's a previous case on you and the statute of limitations isn't up, or if you're on probation, you can expect to either get jail time, cost of restitution, or work project. So a combination of all three. Graffiti's not a high priority crime, so the DA, if you're caught and you're adjudicated or prosecuted, they'd be willing to work out your sentence by those three means: work project, some type of restitution, and or some type of in-house arrest or jail time served. And basically, it's a traffic ticket. You get a traffic ticket, and you're on your way, basically. But if we're lucky enough to somebody to call it in, somebody to catch you, then those three steps are typically what happens, right? Doug Lawson and the Children's Theater Group. Basically, I had a program that I wrote about. It's got to be 15 years ago, and basically it was a proactive program. And basically, what I thought about was to develop a play or a skit, to have a positive message in that skit about not being involved in gangs and or graffiti or peer pressure, and we could develop that play and go around and tour to different schools and have a program that involved the arts, but that was proactive, that would go out into the community and try to do some prevention stuff. Because we can abate and remove graffiti all we want, but if we don't plant the seed when the kids are coming up and when the kids get into the junior high school and they get seduced by that type of behavior, then we're only addressing one part of the problem. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to develop a program to address the proactive part of the program. And a couple of years back, I got some funding from City Council, and they said, hey, we heard about this program, do you want to start something up? And I started calling around, and Doug was about the 5th person I called, and if you talk to him, he said that he didn't want to return my call, but he decided that he was going to return the call. And we met at a Starbucks like this, and I proposed my program, and he said, you know what, I was looking to do something like this. And it's been successful now for probably ongoing for the last 4 years. And we've developed that skit. We bring that positive message to the kids. And also, too, my whole crux of the program is to get kids close to the kids their age that we would mentor or teach. Because you and I could lecture the kids all we want, tell them what to do, and they wouldn't listen to us. But you get somebody close to their age range who are still going to school, who they see in the neighborhood, because we've recruited kids that are in the neighborhood that go to the local schools, and give them this positive message.